Are you embracing the power of a possibility mindset? Today, we are diving in deep, and I'm going to be sharing some stories that will definitely give you a reason to embrace the possibility mindset. But more than that, live the life of your dreams. You might recall last week that I promised you that I was going to dive into the basics of the mindset and the different types of mindsets that there are. And so today we are tackling possibility thinking. It is so important. So it's known possibility thinking, possibility mindset. There are different ways that this goes by, kind of like, dark chocolate can go by like what, 82% cacao, or it could go by 70. So you could think about this mindset in that way, right? There are different names that it goes by, same thing. So what is this possibility mindset? This is about dreaming big, real big. Like big, like most people don't know how to dream when they're grown-ups. Most of us have to go back decades back into our childhood to find that point to where we would dream big, right? When you would think that, for me, I remember playing around my neighborhood and I would pretend that I was some spy. And it's like this dream, I'm going to be a spy and I'm going to save the world, or, right? So you have these dreams and you dream big. I did lose a dream. So when I was in second grade, I wanted to be gymnast, Olympic gymnast, Mary Lou Retton. If you know who I am talking about, then we're about the same age, right? So anyhow, she is not the Simone. She was like the Simone of my generation, right? And it's like who you wanted to aspire to be like. But guess what? In second grade, my dreams of being Mary Lou Retton were absolutely shattered. It did not matter that for Christmas I received the Mary Lou Retton autographed leotard for gymnastics and everything like that. It mattered that when I went to gymnastics class in the afternoon, that I simply could not do the splits in all these different directions that were highly necessary to be an accomplished gymnast. I could not flip for the life of me. And I still can't. I still cannot do a flip, and I really don't want to do a flip, just for the record. I don't like being out of control in that way. All that to say that sometimes we can lose our dreams, and we have to go all the way back and to figure out, like, where was that dream? It was somewhere back there. Somewhere in my lifetime, I knew how to dream, and I lost touch with it. I lost touch with the possibilities of what life could be, or life had to offer. I think a lot of times we get stuck along the way in life. Maybe you got stuck as a kid. And these days, there are a lot of kids that go through a lot of struggles. When I was in education, we call it trauma. And unfortunately, a lot of kids in this day and age experience a lot of trauma in their childhood that is, it's tragic. And so, it is possible that even you have experienced some trauma in your early years and you never learned how to dream. Okay, so that's the reason that sometimes people simply get stuck. Some of us have been told by adults along the way, well, you can't do that. Like you can't, you're not going to be the superstar baseball player. Okay, you're not going to be an actress, you're not going to be on the stage. So just we just cut it out. Right? Sometimes the people around us, well intended, will just try to keep us in our lane. In fact, I'm going to totally admit this right now. I used to live within that box. It was safe and it was comfortable, and it was like, well, I'm not going to be Mary Lou Retton, and so I better just climb back into this safe box right here and just start getting those TPS reports done. Right? I had accepted in my childhood that these were the limitations on life, and you better just stay in the little box in the cube. It's a nice life, almost like, remember the Truman Show, that movie with John Kerry, and he's in this, in this bubble, he's living this great, it's a great life, but it wasn't a real life. guess what? When we're living in that box, we can live a really, really great life. You might have even material accomplishments. You might have that house, the car, the all the things, right? All the amenities that you can have within your box. And you might have a really great job. And you could have all these things, but you know in your heart that you're not really living life. Possibility thinking is what more could there be? What more do I have within me? You see, you have something within you, and you've heard me talk about this a lot over the last year, and that is that you have a special gift within you. Every single person was created with something special to give to the world. It's really, I think, quite absolutely exciting to think that every single person has this great contribution to give to the world. And when I say great contribution, I'm not necessarily saying like it's going to change the world in this ginormous significant life altering way, but every single person contributing this specialness to the world, that's what creates like this huge powerful rainbow effect. You have it within you. Oh, actually, you might not know you have it within you, but I'm going to tell you, you have it within you. And it's a matter of finding that possibility. And a lot of times when we follow that curious path and we allow ourselves to step out in curiosity, we are allowing ourselves to say, I wonder what would happen here. That right there is possibility thinking. I'm going to follow this curiosity. I'm going to see what might happen. I'm going to see what might unfold. As you continue to do this, as you continue to just follow down the little breadcrumb trail, because I think your gift leaves this little breadcrumb trail, and it's reaffirmed as you are on that path and you're following your curiosity. It's almost like you're reaffirmed in that, because it's like this assurance can come up, can fill you from within, like, oh, that felt good. I'm getting closer to this. I'm finding something. This is satisfying to me. This is fulfilling to me. This is bringing a different depth to my life, and you're starting to see things in new ways. So you continue to look at that. In order to get unstuck as an adult, sometimes we have to go through some hard knocks, and those hard knocks are really good if we see the possibility in them, if we see the outcome that could be, then that hard knock has a great opportunity to do something powerful in your life. I'm going to take you back on a little journey back. Wow, it's 2 decades at this point. 2 decades ago, in my mid 20s, I went through this like really terrible life altering experience, and most of us experience some very painful things as we are entering into adulthood and taking our steps into adulthood. And I entered into adulthood, and I thought I had everything checked off. I thought it was all going to be perfect because I followed the rules and I checked everything off the list. It was like, I'm off to see the wizard. This is going to be a great journey. I'm going to have a wonderful life. And then boom, it was like in that movie Meet Joe Black, when the bus hits the the character Joe, right? It was like one of those moments. I just got completely blindsided by life. Here's how blindsided I was by life. Let's see. I end up having to leave a really dangerous situation. We'll put it, I'm going to be as delicate as I can, because good things have come from this really terrible situation. So I had to leave a dangerous situation for self preservation. And I left that situation. I find myself back at home in my mid 20s, definitely not where Miss Independent had ever wanted to be. Find myself back in my parents' house. And this is also when um, one of the Bush administrations were in Desert Storm. So I think that was second Bush administration, right? So we're in operation, like we're in the middle of this, all these little battles and everything. And so the world is unstable. My life is unstable. I'm finding myself, even though I'd been this overachiever, back at my parents' house, sleeping on a twin bed. And every single day for weeks on end, I would find out more terrible information about my own life. This is funny because I think there's this powerful lesson. I had a secret life that was so secret I didn't even know about it. Okay. There are a lot of lessons in this, but the lesson I want you to get from this at this moment is, are you leading a secret life? Like, are you just engulfed in going through the motions of life that you are not even aware of some of the nuances taking place in your life? Because you see, things are being woven into your life, and if you're just going through the motions of living, one, wow, that's really dull and boring and gray, and let's step up life and start living, right? But other things are taking place below the surface that you might not even realize. For me, so much so that I didn't realize that I found myself in a situation, right, where I'm sleeping on a small bed at my parents' house. Bless their hearts. I'm so grateful that they took me in. and I find that all of my accounts are completely frozen because this other person had not paid taxes or done anything. I might have lost the house that I had put a money down payment on. All these things started coming to the surface, all because I had just been going through the motions of life. I had been trusting others, and I had this secret life that I didn't know anything about that could have totally done me in and sunk me. However, I decided every night when I would lay in bed, I would be grateful. And I filled myself with gratitude. Thank you, God, for loving me through all of this crazy mess. Thank you, God, for this breath of life. And then it would just be laughter after that. Like, well, what new thing is going to come? And granted, something else would come up the next day, and I'd get a call from an attorney and this and that. It was so horrible to watch my life completely unravel. And yet, it was also fantastic because I didn't allow it to completely destroy me. I relied on my faith in God. And then from there, I embraced what could be. Well, if this is as bad as it's going to get, then wow, I have a lot of really great things to look forward to. I suppose it could have gotten worse, but I'm like seriously considering, like, I don't think that it could have gotten worse. It could have gotten worse if I lost my health. That would have made it worse. I still had my health, but all that to say, like, let's look at the what ifs in life. Usually we fill the what ifs in with all these negative things, right? Especially during this pandemic, I hear so many people filling in the what if blank with negativity. What if this turns out to be something that has a lot of good byproducts to it? I've been I've been experiencing a lot of really positive what ifs with the pandemic. I've made a lot of new friends and my business has grown, and it's actually provided a lot of good things in my life. But that's because I was looking for them. And also, little asterisks here. That's not to say, like, I know I have good acquaintances in other parts of the country and world, and this is a very different experience. So my asterisk is, for me, focusing on the positive what if has led to really good things. However, I do admit freely that the challenges, depending on where you're at in your circumstances, that would be more challenging. Okay, so I don't want to come off as cavalier or unempathetic because my heart hurts because there are a lot of people in different spots in different situations. However, I just want to. The point being is that when challenges face us, and they will, that's just a given in life. And the bus is going to hit us at some point. As much as we try to dodge that bus, at some point, something's going to knock us down. Maybe a better way of putting it, maybe less gruesome also would be, if we're on a train, right, and we're on the train tracks and we know our destination, we know where we want to get. Okay, and this is part of possibility thinking, is having an idea of where we want to get. For some people, where we want to get is simply, well, maybe I just want to find my gift that I want to give this world, that I want to leave behind. I still need to find it. So that's my goal right now. Okay. So we can have a destination that we're trying to arrive at. And with that goal in mind, we're, going along on the tracks. And sometimes, maybe something happens and we get derailed. But one of my friends, Lenny the Boss, if you're not connected with him over on Facebook, check out everything he has to offer because he's fantastic and super positive, but also realistic. So just another asterisk: possibility thinking doesn't mean you don't have reality. Okay, there are limitations in life, but possibility thinking finds a lot of creative solutions to go around life's limitations. What he's told me in a conversation was, hey, you know what? You could be on the tracks, you could get derailed. And the beauty of it is that you can get your train back on the tracks. Okay. So maybe you're one of these people that you stepped in and you said, okay, I've been listening to Julie's podcast and I've been reading some really great books and I've been dreaming and I'm setting out for my dreams. And then kaboom, you get derailed. Guess what? That is going to happen along the way. Get yourself back up on the tracks, recite in where your destination, where your goal is, and then continue on your path. As you are keeping in mind your final destination for your goal, right? Your current goal. I also want you to think that trains I used to take an Amtrak to go visit my grandparents. And when I'd be on that train, it would have occasional stops along the way to pick people up and to let people off. I want you to think with possibility thinking. Sometimes you're on your path, you're on that train, head to your destination, and you realize that at one of the train stops, maybe somebody hops on board, some different things hop on board, some different packages hop on board. And as the train goes and you're continuing on your path, you realize, ooh, you know what? These things are not healthy or good for me. I think I'm going to change train cars. Or maybe you're simply going to, at the next train stop, get off and wait for the next train to come, right? By that, I mean that sometimes along life's path, we need to evaluate constantly so that we're not leading that secret life. We need to be evaluating what's being onboarded and what do I need to offload. We have to have this exchange that is taking place. And guess what? If it's something positive and it's serving you well and you're serving something else well, then great, keep it on, pile it up, keep it on. There's no end to that at all. But if it's not working well and serving you well, then it is important that you offload that cargo. And that might be yourself if you can't somehow offload the cargo, right? So that you can continue on your path without the encumbrances. What happens if we have this negativity around us? It could be people, it could be things. Like, we simply need to identify it, and then we have to deal with that obstacle that is presented with us. Lots of different ways to do that. The other idea behind this train stops along the way is that you are going to have stops along the way, right? On the way to, whatever your goal and adventure is, whatever you are dreaming of, you're going to have little stops along the way. Maybe it's an overnight stay somewhere. Maybe it's, but you're going to have these lags. They're going to feel like lags, like I'm not getting there fast enough. But it's really important to embrace that and say, well, I need to stay. Maybe you need to be parked in a certain spot in order for your dream to percolate some more. Maybe you have something that you have to learn that will help you unlock that further. Okay, but the possibilities are there and they are endless. Another important facet of this possibility mindset that makes it far easier to make traction and progress even faster is when you realize it's not just about you. You might have an idea. I'm a person that has tons of ideas and I used to keep them all to myself. So I'm speaking from personal experience and also learning that I've done. I always like to pass along, right? I've learned it through books and I've practiced it in life. But all this to say is that when you have an idea and you're trying to execute that idea on your own, one, it can be very lonely. 2, there's a lot of pressure that is all on you. 3, you more than likely don't have all the expertise to have an outcome that will actually meet or exceed the vision and dream that you have in your mind. And so, hence, disappointment sets in, you become discouraged, and you give up on your dreams. Or I should have put I in all of that. So, but I bet a lot of you can relate to that. So, here's the thing, when you have a dream and when you have a really good idea, wrap arms, link arms with other people and draw them in. Create that support system so that you can push for that dream, push for that goal. You will find like minded people when you do this. And here's the most important key to this the most important key to this is that you will be able to play big. You see, when we're trying to tackle it all on our own, we are so limited. But when we link arms with other people that have that shared dream and vision, then we can play exponentially big. Our dreams can become larger than our life. One final thought on possibility thinking and living, not living a secret life. Right now in science, my daughter is studying matter, right? And if you recall back to your elementary days, every single thing is made up of matter. I want you to embrace this into your own life. Your life matters and it is made up of matter. So I want you to really evaluate what are the little tiny particles that are creating your life. You're in charge of them. You can clean them. You can get rid of some of them. Some of them you're just going to have to keep. And by having a grateful, yeah, it sounds crazy, but by approaching them with gratitude and approaching those difficulties with a positive mindset, you are going to be able to actually gain from that difficulty, that challenge that's in your life. I will attest to that. I've experienced that multiple times. So I want you to really evaluate, what is it that is making up your life? What do you need to keep and what do you need to offload? You only get one life. And guess what? You don't know when your time is up. You don't know how much time you have. So chase after it. Don't let anything stop you in this relentless pursuit of pursuing your goals and dreams. Because honestly, I think to myself often, well, what if this fails? I mean, I'm still alive. I can go get another job. I can do this. Like, there's usually a workaround. But what is it going to feel like when 20 years from now you didn't do something? You didn't take that risk. You stayed in the comfort of that box. It was a comfortable box. You just chose to stay there. But I'm pretty sure future you, because I know future me is going to look back if I stay in that box. Future me would look back and say, "What? Why did you play it safe? Why didn't you take that risk? I mean, really, what's the worst thing that could have happened?" Okay, so think outside of that box. Think outside of your comfort zone. Find people that have that shared mindset and play life big. Before I go, I'm going to give you 2 books. If you are on the YouTube channel, you'll actually get to see them. This local store in my town called Under the Sun, you can shop their store online. So probably underthesun.com. I'll see if I can find a link. But they have these great books. This is one of the books. This is called Do What You Love, What You Do. Okay. And so it's that play off of that. It is full of all sorts of quotes. One of my favorite quotes, in fact, you could tell it's kind of opened right there, is from Shel Silverstein. Now, little side note, and I probably shouldn't say this, because I don't want this episode to go too long, but we've already done that. So Shel Silverstein, he is a fantastically fun poet of children's poems. And in second grade, apparently a very pivotal year in my life, and coincidentally, I did teach second grade for years. But when I was in second grade, I memorized, he has a poem on why you're late to school. And when I would ride to school with my dad, I would often be late. And so I went up to my teacher and I recited that poem one day. just because I thought it would be really funny. However, in this book right here, it says all the woulda, coulda, shouldas laying in the sun, talking about the things they woulda, coulda, shoulda done. But those woulda, coulda, shouldas all ran away and hid from the one that did. Be the one that did. Don't be a woulda, shoulda, coulda. Don't be one of those, right? Be the one that did. Another great book I picked up, and actually the owner gave it to me. I went up to her and I said, wow, this is amazing. And this is called What Do You Do with an Idea? This book is so powerful. I understand that this is a kid's book. However, I also know that the message will definitely touch the tender spots of every adult that I know, because it's so powerful. So I highly recommend, not just if you have children, but for you yourself. So pass these books along to people who have children in your life, but also get a copy for yourself. This book, What You Do with an Idea, there is actually a book, I believe, on possibilities as well. It's a trilogy, and they are all so fantastic. Those are books I used to read when I was teaching in the classroom. Very powerful, but I actually bought it for myself and then took it to the classroom. All right, you guys, listen. Again, one shot. You have one life, one shot, and that shouldn't stress you out. It should make you just wildly excited to take the risks, calculated risks, right? And to look at life with all the possibilities that there are out there. This does not mean, oh, I have rose-colored glasses, and there's this thing called reality that we all work within, and the rules in life sometimes shift and change on us, and we have to adapt. But you know what? You can do that, and you can find that gift, and you can give that gift that you have within you to the world, and you can feel free and satisfied. This life is yours. Live it well.
Welcome to the Ask Me How I Know podcast. I'm your host, Julie Holly. I've had parallel careers between real estate and teaching elementary school. As the third generation in real estate and married to a successful residential realtor, you can imagine how alarmed I was when I discovered the power of apartment syndication when I was 42. I won't lie, I felt betrayed. All those years, how could I grow up around real estate, serve as a realtor, own single-family investments, and never know the power behind investing in apartments? For the first time ever, my parallel careers became singular, a mission to educate people on how they can apply this powerful investment strategy to achieve their financial goals. I'm on a mission to reveal insider secrets that wealthy people know and use to create legacy wealth that lasts generations. If you're ready to learn how to expand your investment portfolio from Wall Street to Main Street in a hands-off way, if you want to up your real estate investment game, or need to simply hit refresh on your mindset, then this podcast is for you. Join me and an unscripted conversation with highly successful entrepreneurs that will level up your investment strategy in a way that can change your future and generations to follow. You don't want to miss an episode, because every episode will add one more step on your path to your dreams. So be certain to subscribe and be a giver. If this episode helped you, share it with someone you know.